Okay, good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and call to order the regularly scheduled Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. And we'll start with roll call.
Thank you. Dana Hennis, Chairman.
Present.
Brian Clark, Vice Chair.
Present.
Bobby Rosadillo, Commissioner.
Present.
Jim Main, Commissioner. Let the record show that he was absent. Okay, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. So first up on the agenda tonight is the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, so next up on the agenda under public hearings is case number 25-09-S and 25-29-DR for Indy subdivision. Marina?
Good evening, members of the Commission. For the record, Marina Lundy, Planner, CUNA Development Services Department. The application before you this evening requests preliminary plat and design review approval for a 23-lot single-family residential subdivision with 4 common lots on 5.1 acres. The site is located near the intersection of West Ardell and South McClure Lane, and is already zoned R6 medium residential density. Staff has reviewed the proposed pre-plat for compliance with CUNA City Code, Idaho statutes, and the CUNA Comprehensive Plan, and should the Commission recommend approval of the application, staff recommends the applicant be subject to the proposed recommended conditions as outlined in the staff report. I'll be here for any questions that you have, and the applicant is present tonight.
Thank you. Any questions for staff at this time? No. Thank you. If the applicant would like to come up, just go ahead and state your name and address for the record, please, and go ahead and press the base of the microphone to green. You know that.
Chairman, Commissioners, my name is David Crawford with Centurion Engineers. I'm here representing the owner of the property who's also here tonight. I want to say this project, I believe, is beneficial to the city of CUNA. It essentially completes Crimson Point subdivision that was done. Our office had the opportunity to finish off the last 3 or 4 phases of Crimson Point on the south end, and we get the opportunity to finish off this little 5-acre parcel up on the north end. This property was always considered for development. It had 2 stub streets placed into it. It was rezoned. It was annexed and rezoned R6 around 2014, and we presented a project that is completely compliant with CUNA City Code and ordinances. The one thing I would like to point out is that Public Works staff has reviewed this project, and there's adequate sewer to supply. Domestic water and pressurized irrigation will be put in. During our review, during the agency review comments, we were required by the Highway District to stub a road to the east into that McClure subdivision, which is a county subdivision. And the Boise project wants us to maintain the irrigation ditch that runs through our property, which we're totally compliant with. The only thing that's a little different with this subdivision, at least from my perspective, is that we didn't bring a super dense product here. This is under a newer portion of code since CUNA code has changed. We're allowed about 6 dwelling units per acre, and we brought forward a 4.4 dwelling unit per acre project. We felt that would be more fitting with the neighborhood, and we provided that from the get-go. During our neighborhood meeting, I'd like to point out there was a number of issues brought up by the neighbors. In case we're going to blast, we're going to notify them if we're going to do any blasting on the site. I don't know that we're going to be able to do that, but it might be required for some of the storm drain systems, and we'll definitely provide notification if that's utilized on the site. Another neighbor brought up that there's some drainage due to the topography of the site that does go off the boundary, and in accordance with CUNA City Code, we'll be providing a lot drainage plan and be retaining all of our stormwater on site. And with that, I'll stand for any questions you have.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, at this point, the only big question I have is the alignment of the road. Is there an opportunity to straighten that out with the existing MOV alignment? That angle point
Are we
not
ta-
typical.
Are we talking about the Mauve Avenue extension?
Yes.
We may be able to realign that slightly. The way this property is set up, it wasn't, the way the angles come together, it's
Mhm.
really difficult. We probably would be allowed about a 12 to 15 degree deviation from that angle, but we could look into it, because we could probably tweak that over just about 10, 12 degrees and straighten it out a little more.
Yeah, I tried digging into, unfortunately, ASHTO puts all their stuff behind a paywall, and I don't do a lot of ASHTO design. What are the geometric design standards for a road, for a local roadway? Is there not a minimum radius?
There is a lot of standards that are implemented by the Ada County Highway District.
Yeah,
There-
they just refer back to ASHTO. I went digging through ACHD, and they went straight back to ASHTO. I was like,
For-
oh, you gotta be kidding me.
For local roads, they do have, minimum standards that they require. Like I said, there's not a heck of a lot of opportunity the way the thing's shaped, but we can see if we can do something to that, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, is there an opportunity to lot along McClure, turn the lot sideways along McClure and just realign that piece? Because if you turn those lots sideways, I don't know what's going on with lot 20. I don't know if that's part of the, if that's a single family residence, or is that an open space?
Lot 20 is our open space.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because in my mind, I was seeing turn the houses sideways along that edge and realign the roadway, so it better, it would be a funky intersection, that is what it is, with Henna.
Right now, it's meeting at right angles,
Uh-huh.
so if we start tweaking that road coming into the north, we're gonna start meeting at offset,
Hey,
so.
curve it and make more triangles. We love working with triangles, don't we?
I suppose.
No, from a planning standpoint, I'm with you. I hate
Yeah.
triangles. Okay, that's really my biggest concern with the site. Really, that and lot 1 got pinched, but those are my primary questions and concerns with the site.
Any other questions?
No.
I don't have any at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, would staff be able to get the sign-in sheets? Thank you, sir. Okay, so we will go ahead and open up the public testimony at 6:08. And I've got a number of people signed up here. There's probably a number of people that look like they came in a little bit late. We'll get an opportunity at the end to sign in if you want to testify on this. So we'll go ahead and start with the list. Of those marked to testify, I have Brian and Mercy Clarkson.
Hi, good evening. I am Brian Clarkson with 2289 North Van Dyke Avenue.
Thank you.
And my biggest concern with this plot map was, it was my understanding that the main thoroughfare would have been Henna. And so my concern would be that as far as the traffic, the excessive traffic, I believe that they probably need an outlet to Ardell as their main source of traffic going in and out of the subdivision. And so that would be my biggest concern.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And just to remind everybody, our procedures tonight is go ahead and state your name and address for the record, if you would. You've got 3 minutes for your information. And then at the questions that you will ask, the applicant will have a few minutes at the end to answer some of those questions, okay? So next up, I have Adam Christ.
Thank you, Council and Commissioners. My name is Adam Christ. I live at 2233 West Henna Street. A couple things of note here. I wanted to go over, in speaking with the engineer during our public meeting some of the concerns I have with this neighborhood. I know that there's going to be a neighbor going in there. I like farm fields, like most of Cuneites love farm fields. Some of the concerns is, just brought up was about the traffic that would go along Henna Street. Essentially, people would use Henna as a thoroughfare to enter Shayla, go back to Ardell, and back out to 10 Mile is generally. The biggest concern I have with that is that on Shayla, we have Crimson Point Elementary. That school is at maximum as it is, as you know. On most days, there's extended parking. People are parking illegally, and it causes some traffic issues. Now, if we add essentially two vehicles per house, which generally that's kind of the standard, we're putting close to 100 vehicles, meaning in and out a day, close to that. That's a concern for me, a concern for the safety of our community, and concern for the children of the community. As a first responder myself, I know that within a short distance from a school, that's where often we have a lot of accidents, fatalities of children. And if you add more vehicles into that small road, then there's a potential for some major injuries. What we asked the engineer is to draw up a plan where that street of Reliant, I believe it is, goes out to Ardell. He quoted that he cannot do that because it doesn't have a setback of 100 feet. In some of my research, I believe the street with its setback is 50 feet, not 100 feet. As long as you have 150 feet of line of sight. So at the end of Ardell, at Ardell and where that street would plug out, there's a clear 150 feet from the center line there. So the purpose of me saying that is that the neighborhood has requested that he draw up a plan and bring it back to us and see if we can take a look and agree to that. That has not been done. The second portion is talking about open space. According to section 5-8-1104, it says that 10% of the developer's gross land needs to be open space. According to their plat, it is only 8.4%. Part of that says that the land set aside for open space purpose shall be high quality land rather than some disposable land remnants. As you can see, their open space on the edge there is not the high quality land in there. It is remnant land, and so we have what I believe is a violation there. The third point I would like to make is that the minimum street frontage according to code is 45 feet. If you look, and I think Mr. Clark made mention of that, how in block 2 in section 1 that there was how that lot was squozen down, or was made smaller. Okay, so it's not the 45 feet required; it's at 35.56 feet, which that's another violation. So my concern is that we are cutting corners, and that we are not doing good by CUNA, and so I would ask that the council deny this permit. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Sure. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna probably slaughter this name a little bit. Is it Stephen Roschke? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Stephen Saschke. Thank you for the opportunity. I live at 2017 North Mauve. So I am on that block that is one of the entryways for this new subdivision. We have a lot of young families on our street. I'm one of the two oldest. My neighbor across the street and I were. But even they have a young girl that's going to Crimson Elementary, and a lot of kids go there. They can walk to school, they ride their bikes, they skateboard, they play with their little cars on the street. It's a really great place to live. We're all worried about the things that Adam was talking about the traffic, the extra 100 cars that are gonna be using their street, Henna, and our street, Mauve, to get in and out of this neighborhood, and we're just seriously concerned because they're not accessing the obvious, which is Ardell. There's a place there where they can access, and it just seems ridiculous to us that they would put come and change our neighborhood with all this extra traffic that we're gonna be seeing. And we have a lot of children. We have babies, and they're growing up, and so, and the same with Henna. They have a lot of young families. Some of them are represented here tonight. Also, these streets are crooked. They come in from Mauve. They're based on a house that's crooked, that the builder had to change the foundation because there was a culvert. And so the last house on Mauve, before you enter this on the right when you go in there, is at an angle, and these streets are based on a crooked house. If you go and look at that, you'll see that. And so they could make that street go in, they could make that park bigger, and they could put a little exit out to Ardell. There's plenty of room there, as Adam said. So we would like to see this denied until they fix all these things. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next I have on the list is Ron Hens.
Thank you, gentlemen. My name is Ron Hensey. I live at 2355 West Henna Street. And I am concerned, as has been mentioned. Adam brought a very good point, and I'd like to echo that. The children are our future. If we don't take care of the children, we don't have much of a future. I'm pretty young. I still have the ability to work. But boy, my kids come in handy when there's a little bit more work to be done. If this goes through, I would like to propose that you put bollards at every stop sign, that you put speed bumps, as you have put in some neighborhoods. We have to slow down the traffic. The corners that are being cut are terrible. That needs to be controlled. We need to have pedestrian walks presented. You have put flashing lights in some areas to help with the protection of the children. The children are our greatest concern. If you do not provide another form of exit onto Ardell, Shayla is going to be a total mess. And then we are going to be back in here complaining to the council that you need to do something. The speed bumps, I don't like. I don't care for them. The bollards, on the other hand, they go down 10 feet, they stick up 6 feet. Man, a car is gonna really feel that punch if it cuts the corner. Is it gonna slow them down? I don't know. But they may bounce off, especially if they're driving a Tesla. I'm concerned for the kids. We have a big problem, as was mentioned, with the school and the illegal parking. You cannot get 2 vehicles to pass through there at the time of the kids being dropped off or the time the kids are being picked up. If you're gonna try to get emergency responders through there, you're gonna have to wait until the moms or the dads move their vehicles to get through. It's an issue. It's a problem. And I appreciate you taking time to listen to our concerns and make the correct choice.
Thank you. Next up, I have Sean and Tiffany McGee.
Thank you. Tiffany McGee. I'm at 2374 West Henna. I'll echo a lot of what's been said already. We are right on the corner of Henna as the traffic comes into that area of the subdivision. Our biggest concern is the traffic and the safety of the children. We have a direct line of sight from our house to the elementary school, and just as the Chris had mentioned, there are cars that line up there to pick up their kids, and so that is by far our biggest concern is the safety of the kids and the traffic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is McClure a two-lane road? Coming out here, McClure Lane,
I think it's a private lane, yeah.
is it?
Okay, next up, marked to testify is Amber Huber.
Hi, my name is Amber Huber, and I live at 2262 North Van Dyke Avenue in Ruby Creek, legally known as Crimson Point North. My property directly borders the land proposed for the new Indy subdivision. It is directly behind Lot 1, which I was appreciative that you noticed is inappropriate. I would also like to note that I previously worked for West Park Companies, the developer of Ruby Creek, Patagonia, and several other Treasure Valley communities. So I have experience in development and the development world and an understanding of how responsible development should be approached. I'm not opposed to development. I have always known this parcel would eventually be built on. However, I hoped it would be done in a responsible and reasonable manner, respecting the existing homeowners. After attending the neighborhood meeting, I left feeling as if I was treated more like a box that the developer needed to check than a genuine effort to listen to the valid concerns of the people who actually live here. Many of our questions were brushed aside or answered vaguely, which has greatly contributed to our unease. As a whole, I think we have three major issues, potentially four. I know traffic isn't one that you're necessarily concerned with. One is blasting. The property directly adjacent to mine had to be blasted as I worked for the developer, several feet down and 15 feet into my lot and 15 feet into the neighboring lot. When we asked the developer about what remediations and precautions they would take in blasting, the response, and I quote, was, "We know how to blast." For a developer with limited experience, that dismissal of our concerns is unsettling. Another concern that we have is drainage. Ruby Creek already struggles with water, saturated yards, wet crawl spaces, multiple sump pumps, retaining walls, and a drainage ditch installed by the farmer behind the fence because water naturally flows towards our houses. A critical piece of this discussion is elevation. The incline from Ardell to the top corner of the proposed Indy subdivision is approximately 20 feet. The lots behind us will sit dramatically higher, literally on top of us. Even the lot directly behind me, Lot 1, is 6 to 8 feet higher than my yard. What concerns me most is that the developer hasn't seemed to recognize or care about the significant slope. Anyone standing in our neighborhood can see how much our lots and the roads rise upward. Overlooking something this obvious feels like a severe lack of due diligence. Because of this elevation difference, our drainage issues will only intensify without proper mitigation. To help address this, I propose that the developer be required to install a 5-foot common area along the existing Ruby Creek fence line with a professional engineered underground drainage system. This will provide a necessary buffer to capture and redirect water before it overwhelms our yards and crawl spaces. I have one last point,
Make
is
it
developer
quickly.
inexperience. After researching this developer, it appears that this is their first true neighborhood subdivision. Prior experience seems to be small infills of 2 or 3 homes. Their lack of expertise, combined with the dismissive tone at the neighborhood meeting, raises significant concerns about their ability to safely, responsibly manage blasting, water mitigation, and the complex elevation challenges of this site. In closing, these issues, blasting, drainage, and experience are not minor details. They pose real risks to existing homeowners. I respectfully ask that these concerns be thoroughly evaluated, and please deny this plat as it stands.
Thank you. Next up on the list, I have Tim Jensen.
Tim Jensen with CUNA School District 711 East Porter Street here in CUNA. I just wanted to stand up. We submitted a letter. The developer has come to us and agreed to partnership. We're still working out the details of what that will be, obviously, in these early stages, but just mainly wanted to also come up here and answer questions you guys might have from our side of it.
What is the capacity of Crimson Point currently?
I don't have the exact number, but I know all of our Crimson, Silver Trail are both right at capacity.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. You? No. Nope.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
David Nielsen.
My name is David Nielsen. I live at 2135 West Henna Street, and I just want to echo whatever's been said so far, especially with Amber. Our lot is adjacent to the proposed property. We're just on the south side of Amber's lot. So when it comes to the erosion aspects of it, or the water drainage aspects of it, where the water's going to go, the blasting concerns, they're all echoed here. One of the ones I have that's still a concern that stands out is I work from home professionally. I've done it for a long time. And personally, not getting notified of blasting occurrence will affect my career, will affect my day-to-day. So I would need to be notified of what's going to happen, when that blasting is going to occur, so I can plan accordingly. Because heaven forbid I'm on a conference call with a customer and blasting goes, you know, then I have to hang up the call, and that affects me, affects my career, which is not good. Then also when it comes to the blasting aspect of it all, we have our foundation we have to worry about. If we don't know when blasting is going to occur, if we don't know how close they're going to be to our property, we don't know the damage that it's going to cause. And right now our foundation's solid. So if the developer comes in and blasts and our foundation is now cracked, we have a bigger problem. So we need to make sure all that's mitigated prior to this even moving forward. But again, just like to echo what's said, and you know, also echo it's fantastic to see community come together and propose their concerns and be able to be listened to. So thank you.
Thank you. Megan Startenberg?
My name is Megan Stoutenberg at 2021 West Ardell. We just were curious if in the plans there was a fence that would be bordering our land, separating from the neighborhood that's going up.
There should be, but the applicant can answer that when he, when he
Thanks.
comes back up. Thank you. Okay, so that that is all the names that I have currently on the list. Is there anybody here tonight that would like to come up and add their name to respond or to testify? Okay, come on up. I'll have you all sign in.
Oh, we got our Christmas ornaments over here.
They stole your desk from you.
I know. Does not look like 8 feet of drop off.
I mean, it's steep because the problem is it's flat from Ardell.
No, not right now, not during Two would be Troy or one of the staff members or Moreno. Thank you.
So it's going up from here, right? And so it looks nice and flat, but then these houses do step down. But if you look at the topo here, so just looking at the topo. sitting here, you're up at a 2881 over there, 2681 over there. And then you're coming all the way down on the south here to I saw 74, 73, 72. So this is, it's 40 gain.
9 feet across there.
Right, no, it's not insignificant. So I mean, there's a ridge right here, right? So there is a little bit of a ridge here. So this right here is coming this direction. This is all gonna go down towards Moth, or does go down towards Moth. So it's, this entire property is going that direction, but it's not insignificant either.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, first up would be, is it, Dorian? Dorian? I'm close, but never right on.
My name is Dorianne Romero Pleon. I'm at 2138 North Mauve Avenue, Cuna. So I'm the last house before the open space. And I have several concerns about this. The first one is that Ardell is a very big street. I don't understand why it can't be designed so that they feed out that way rather than through down Mauve or down Henna, because there's a lot of traffic and there's a little grammar school right there. There are kids walking, riding their bikes, and it just doesn't make any sense to me that they can't have this adoption or change to accommodate that. I also am concerned because we had a neighborhood meeting and I felt that we were very much dismissed and that nothing changed from the neighborhood meeting to now, and we had a long time to converse. We tried to express ourselves in a civil manner, and I felt completely unheard. And it wasn't even them that raised the concern, but luckily I'm blessed with neighbors that have more information. But I'm a single mom, that's like my life, and they have no comfort that we're not going to blast, we're not going to ruin it, we'll take steps, we'll meet with you, we'll hear you, we'll take care of you. Because what happens when my house is gone? It's cold outside. I can't be homeless in Idaho, and that's how I feel.
Thank you. Wesley?
Yeah, I'm Wesley Gowdy. I'm at 2310 West Beige, just at the upper neck there of the diagram on the other side of the fence. Just a concern here because it sounds like they are trying to cram a lot of housing into a small area, and that feeds right into the problems that we're talking about here related to all the blasting, the traffic. I just had a question maybe for the three gentlemen behind me, maybe to answer something related to the, did I have that right? Normally you'd be looking at 6 acres and they were able to get it down to 4. If that's true, maybe somebody could comment on that, but it does sound like to me, an overcrowding vis-a-vis what we currently have in our neighborhood. So that's of some concern to me. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, I've got is it Tamley?
I think you got one name right tonight.
Well, you know, I got Tim's name right. I got that one.
My name is Tammy Basto. I live at 2285 West Beige Court, which is a block away from Henna. I'm a mother of 5 and a grandmother of 14 and a half. And I would like to concur with what has been brought up so far as drainage, traffic. Everything that's been brought up is very important and very valid. One part about the traffic, right now, you can't even get 2 cars down Henna passing each other right now, as it stands now. And like they said, we have a elementary school. I've been in education for 30 years. And I would like the commissioners and the developers to understand that our schools are currently bursting at the seams and nothing is being done about it. We have houses going up right, left, back, forth. What about parks? What about schools? What about retail? We have an overabundance of homes being built in our area, and our schools cannot handle it right now. And I'm afraid that developers and government are still thinking about the almighty dollar and property taxes, and it's time to get our heads from our behinds. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll go ahead and ask one last time, is there anybody else that would like to testify on this application that has not signed up yet? Okay, in seeing none, I will go ahead and let the applicant come up and answer some of the questions that have been posed.
Commissioners, David Crawford, 2323 South Vista Avenue in Boise. There's a lot of stuff brought up here tonight. I'll try and get through them as quick as I can. I may not be able to answer the questions to the satisfaction of the neighbors, but I definitely tried to answer the questions to the best of my ability, for sure. I'll go through them. You know, this is a 25 lots, residential lot subdivision. It is going to add to the traffic. Traffic in Kuna is increasing, and part of the development community, when building permits are issued, there are funds that are collected from the highway district that go towards street improvements for other areas like signalized intersections and things like that. That's a mechanism for funding roadway improvements. We of course build the road standards here to the degree that to the highest standard, because it's a highway district thing. So we built the roads full width, so there's parking on both sides of the street. It's emergency vehicle accessible. One of the things that continues to get brought up is a connection out to Ardell Road. Ardell Road is a collector road, and you can't have an intersection within 325 feet of another intersection. So that out parcel at our northeast corner has a driveway, and then you have McClure Lane right there, which is 200 feet away. So there's no way we can comply with the highway district requirement to get an access out there. I'm sorry they didn't hear that at the meeting, but I tried to stress that. I would look into that, and I certainly did. Went back and verified it. The highway district has reviewed this plan, and they found that they're good with it. They didn't have us do anything different to our streets because they're compliant with the standards that they have. This will add an additional 25 lots to the neighborhood. Presumably there will be children that will go to school. Maybe not Crimson Point, but probably so. It's a very small, essentially infill development that will connect the public streets and allow better access. And this actually completes, anytime you have over 30 lots, you're supposed to have 2 accesses in and out. Well, Crimson Point was built, and there was no other access except for the 2 stubs here. So they've got over 500 feet or so of, well more than 500 feet of roadway without a secondary emergency access. This completes it so that it would allow emergency vehicle access. The road alignment, yeah, there was a lot of things we wish we could have done differently, but those road stubs were provided to us at the alignment that we were with. We're only allowed minor deviations from the alignments, and so we did the best we could with what we had to work with. I don't know that we can do anything about parking near, on, or around the school or other intersection improvements, but there is opportunity to work with the highway district for neighborhood grants should those things be funded. And I'm certain that working with Kuna School District, they might be able to improve the traffic patterns and drop-off locations. But we can't do anything about that with this. We heard a lot about blasting tonight. There's a lot of rules when it comes to blasting. The company that I work with routinely does blasting next to Micron facilities. So there is the ability, I don't know how to blast, but the companies that we work with certainly do. City of Kuna has some very specific rules about where blasting can be done, If it's necessary, we don't know that it's necessary right now. We did a rock depth map, and we've tried to locate our storm drain facilities to keep them in the areas where they may not be necessary. So if we don't have to, we won't. There's other options like rock saws and open cut trenching and things like that that we'll improve, but we won't know that until we get further into the construction plans. I'm sure that this development was intended to kind of fit in with the fabric of the neighborhood and draw more people in that will fit in with the neighborhood. There's, let's see, we could have put 6 dwelling units to the acre or close there too, and we provided one that's 4.4 acre, or 4.4 dwelling units to the acre. That's less density than is allowed by code. We definitely, if blasting happens, we'll definitely notify people just like we said we were gonna do. Again, we don't know if that's gonna be necessary at this time. We believe that we've presented a good project that's gonna fit in well with the fabric of the community and the city of Kuna. It's compliant with all of City of Kuna's codes and ordinances. Oh, fencing. We'll definitely put in fencing where it's needed, where there's not site obscuring fencing in accordance with code now around the project perimeter. I believe that may be limited to the east boundary, but because there's existing fences from the other neighborhoods that are already in. But we'll definitely comply with code and as it'll be required as part of our development. Our drainage areas have extensive experience in creating drainage plans. We do a lot of work with hillsides and are very well aware of what it takes to deal with the site topography, and we can certainly work with that. All of our storm drain facilities are going to be designed and built to the standards of the Ada County Highway District, and they'll be inspected along with the city inspections of all the other utilities in there throughout the development. We're not trying to get away with anything. We're not trying to subvert our responsibilities. We're sitting here saying we're going to comply with it. We don't know everything specifically that we're going to do at this time. Right now, we're looking, the process is you kind of get your entitlements going, get your project, say it's approved, then you dive into all the little details and go through the agency review. So the construction plans will be done, or reviewed by and approved by the City of Kuna, the Ada County Highway District. We have to go through the health department, and it's a pretty thorough, rigorous standard, and we're very familiar with that, what that looks like in the city of Kuna. I'm really sorry that the neighborhood felt like I wasn't paying attention to them or hearing what they said, but I certainly did. And I hope that I've been able to address those concerns to the extent practical here tonight. I believe we presented a great project. The City of Kuna kind of completes off the Crimson Point area development, and I'll stand for any questions you have.
Thank you.
I have a question, and Troy or city staff, this may be a better question for you guys, but obviously we've heard a lot about internal traffic within the larger subdivision, but with that exit coming out onto McClure Lane, I haven't heard from any neighbors coming up from McClure. What is the expectation of that exit coming out onto a private lane, and what are there any limitations to that, being that it's private?
For the record, Troy B. Hunan, senior planner. So I was actually the planner for Ruby Creek. I was also part of the planning team for Crimson Point number 5, which abuts the south and the west side of this property. Since before I got here, before any of these people moved into their homes, the Kuna City Code requires that there are stub streets provided to undeveloped and future possible developed properties. That's why Mauve has a stub street, and that's why Henna is a stub street. So there's also a likelihood that in the future, McClure Lane, as 5-acre parcels, they could become attractive to somebody who wants to further subdivide them. If I had $1 for every time somebody said, I'm never selling my land, I would have a lot of money. It happens. So we have to prepare for it. That's why Henna has been paved and provided. That's why Ma was paved and provided. It is a city requirement. Even if there was no connection required or limit for a connection to Ardell Road, as Dave Crawford stated, by ACHD, who is the highway authority. Even if that didn't exist, Henna and Mauve would still need to be connected. And then, I mean, we're still talking about cars using that both ways. Roads have 2 lanes. So, it's very possible that people that don't live in this subdivision are gonna use these roads. It's very possible. It's going to happen. But we do that because EMS and daily services, they have to have the connections. It is a proven fact that ACHD has stood by and that the city code has stood by, that connected roads reduce miles traveled on the big roads like Ardell and on Shayla. So while this is a very small development, it has some significance to it because it's completing Mauve and Henna, and it's connecting those roads that have stood as undeveloped roads for a while. The developer's also required to provide that to McClure Lane, so that in the event that one of them or more of them develop, that we don't create these enclaves and these dead ends for cars, that there would be multiple exit points and entrances. So it's a necessary component, and it is required by our code and by ACHD standards.
Yeah. So I appreciate the explanation, and, you know, I understand, you know, the stub roads there and all. You know, when I originally looked at the, you know, the plat, you know, I figured that a lot of the internal traffic within that may be alleviated by McClure, but knowing that McClure is private, would that be an issue somewhere? Is that just going to be causing another problem if people, and maybe at the end of the day, you know, a lot of the concerns about traffic may be alleviated by that, but is that going to create another problem with McClure, with neighbors there?
The developer's actually gonna have to put up barricades to prevent that from happening. So there won't be a connection at this point. It's only in the event that it does develop in the future.
Okay, so it's another stub road there. Okay.
So,
Correct.
kind of a question on that as well. So is the city in agreement that there doesn't seem to be an option coming out to Ardell, that it does not conform to ACHD standards?
The city will 99.5% of the time follow exactly what ACHD recommends and what they require. I believe the ACHD report states that it's against their policy.
Right.
So if it's against their policy, we're not going to support it. So.
Understood. Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you. And we'll go ahead and close the public testimony at 6:48. And that'll bring up our discussion. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if I like this one. I like the development. I don't like the place. And, you know, I came in looking at it like, okay, it's not too bad, but as the people have talked, the neighbors have talked, and I've been on these roads as well, I'm concerned with Crimson Point Elementary. I mean, granted, most of it'll turn before that, but I'm concerned with just the flow in here coming back into the neighborhoods. 'Cause I imagine that was kind of the intention as you look at this with the stub streets as it was laid out and planned, but those streets there, especially by as you get towards Crimson Point Elementary, get narrow.
So, I mean, they're all standard local streets. They support typical local traffic, so that's what we have to live with on local roads.
Yeah, but Henna looks bigger than Shayla.
So Shayla is only a part width improvement currently?
That's fine.
Shayla is currently only an existing part width improvement because that parcel to the west there has not developed. So yeah, no, there's curb and gutter and sidewalk on the east side of the road.
Okay.
There's no curb and gutter and sidewalk on the west side of the road.
Okay.
So if and when that parcel develops, that'll be required to improve
widen,
the other
yeah.
half width, yeah.
Okay.
So if you look at the intersection right there, that is the full width,
Right, exactly.
and that would be,
Okay.
so that would get improved in the future. So Henna itself is typical local, which is typical of the entire development.
Maybe one question for Troy, if I might. Since you had experience in the planning of a couple of these pieces, how likely, in your opinion or in your experience, are they gonna have to deal with blasting? Typically on these sites, we have a knowledge as to what our rock base is. And especially, it may move lower on one side and higher on another side. Do you have an anticipation on this one?
For the record, Troy B. Hoonan, Senior Planner, DSD. Well, we're in CUNA, so there's a little bit of lava rock out here.
Just a little bit.
Rock saws happen quite a bit. But when people hear the word blasting, what they think of is the Hollywood version of it, where, you know, pieces land 15 blocks away and schools have to close. That's not what happens here. It's very sophisticated. You could dig on the west side of the property line and hit rock and go 20 feet to the east and you might hit sand.
Okay.
I have no professional opinion about what the geology is underneath that.
And that's why the soils engineers make the big bucks.
No, I understand. I mean, we've got a project, you know, as in some of the areas here where we have that kind of rock structure where we know where it's at. But then again, this is CUNA. It varies a lot. So, okay. I was just hoping to see if we had maybe a knowledge as to what our bedrock depths were.
So there is, for the record, Troy B. Hoonan, there is actually a USGS geologic map that is available where you can get a general idea of the area on bedrock depth. It is available either on usgs.com or you can do a public records request with the city, but we do have that available. They have it available. Again, it's a generalization.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a very loose GIS system that's based
Yeah.
on trends and everything else. Short of
Yeah.
local study, it's not worth talking about.
Okay. That's what I kind of figured. So
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was 2 feet under, like my house, or if it's 6 feet under.
In all likelihood, yes.
Exactly. So,
And
okay.
10 feet under and 1 foot under and yes.
Okay.
So,
Well, again, it goes back to, I mean, I'm not so worried about the blasting mitigation because, like Troy says, it's changed a lot over the years, and, you know, we've had projects within my profession where we haven't had
well,
real issues with it.
I mean,
So-
that's the thing. I mean, 20 years ago, I had the opportunity to go stand on a site in Menifee, California. We were invited to the site for the blasting, and we were about 100 feet away from the blast zone.
Right.
You know, controlled with the guy with the detonator, and it's like, click, boom.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's gotten so much better in the past that
And that was a big rock.
yeah, and to assure the neighbors that it's a lot more sophisticated than it used to be. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm not so worried about that. I'm more worried about the traffic
Yeah.
and the traffic flow than I am the blasting and the drainage. I think has
No, I think-
possibilities of
So,
worst case.
now, and as stated, the drainage, part of the problem with the drainage on that site was how it was constructed back then. This new project, as David says, and as Troy has also mentioned, all the drainage is required to be, is just required to stay on site. It's not supposed to leave the bounds of the parcel. So, I mean, the storm drain design is gonna be done to that level. So I don't want to, I say this as an option, or as in the hopes of waylaying any concerns as far as drainage is concerned. I think, of the permanent impacts, that probably bothers me the least. The permanent impacts I think I'm more worried about are, just the impacts to the neighborhood. I mean, it's 25 homes. We're assuming about, I think the current numbers are about 0.5 to 0.6 heads per house that are gonna impact our schools right now. That's, I think, the current survey, if I recall the last conversation we had with Tim on that. So, I mean, it is an impact, but we're talking about potentially 12 to 15 heads. And those heads have names and they're very important. I have my kids.
Well, and
So I
you know,
don't wanna-
while it's not a large number of people that
It's
would be
still-
coming in, it's connecting
Yeah.
the two areas, and so now you're going to have, instead of people going one way, I mean, you're going to have people coming from, you know, south heading out to Shayla, people from, you know, up north, and you know, I think it's going to it's going to impact the internal traffic more.
Well,
than,
yeah, but one benefit to that is now the people on Henna are gonna have a secondary access out to Crenshaw. Cause right now, they only can go out to Shayla.
And I was looking at that too. And Troy, the light that's going in off 10 Mile there with the commercial development, is that off Crenshaw? I can't remember. I know it was a few weeks ago or a few meetings ago.
The traffic signal,
Yeah, traffic signal, sorry.
well, there's a school crossing, which is a controlled crossing for the school children at or near Crenshaw. I don't believe that there's
Are-
a traffic signal.
Where was
planted.
that?
That would be
They're gonna
out
put
of
a-
character.
Where's that? Wasn't it a gas station that's going in off of 10 Mile?
Yeah, but that's actually
Yes.
planned for a roundabout.
It's a roundabout.
There? Okay.
Yeah, 10 miles planned for a roundabout.
I'm just trying to think of how people would leave the neighborhood. You know, what would be the easiest or most logical way, and if it's going to be off of Ardell or off of a different way to 10 Mile or Deer
It
Flat.
really, well, honestly, it really depends, cause I mean, from this side of town, depending on when you leave, if you're planning on going up towards Meridian, you're almost better served avoiding the roundabouts on 10 Mile and just, if you can get away from the school traffic, the high school traffic, it's usually best to take Deer Flat over to Meridian Road and take Meridian North. So, or at least in my experience. So that's, you know, whether, and honestly, that, it's easy to get, if you can avoid the Deer Flat and 10 Mile intersection, it's best, because coming south on 10 Mile is not fun in the mornings. So it's, in all likelihood, it's gonna impact the neighborhood directly, either via Shayla or down to Crenshaw. Cause honestly, making the right from Ardell onto 10 Mile isn't fun either. Making the left onto 10 Mile is even worse. And that's true, I mean, I was driving by Hubbard this morning, I counted the cars going through the intersection. 10 cars made it through the left signal before it stopped, and there was a line of about 50 on Hubbard. So I mean, just by traffic, from traffic concerns, every home is a number that's
Yeah.
impacting our overall traffic situation.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's not a ton of kids that this would produce
no.
as much as cars. And, you know, I'm just used to infill development or some of these having direct access out to more of a standard street instead of back into another adjacent subdivision.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's the whole thing. I mean, there's no reasonable access on Ardell for this piece.
No, I
Not
agree.
unless McClure were to actually get rolled into this parcel. If
Right.
this came in as a bigger part of a piece, but that comes with its own different set of problems.
Correct.
So yeah, unless this got rolled into McClure, ultimately that will become an access point. I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause even if the parcel on the northwest corner opened up and came into this, they still wouldn't be able to put anything there as an access onto Ardell.
No,
The
again,
only
it's,
access would be
yeah,
McClure.
so it's the intersection spacing that's controlling this, because McClure exists, which precludes a new access to be placed between, Shayla and McClure.
Yeah, and you can kinda see how it's laid out. Those are basically the ACHD.
Yeah, and on a
It's basically
collector, I'm actually kinda surprised it's as narrow as it is on a collector, but, I mean, I'm used to 660 being the
Yeah.
maximum, or the minimum.
Yeah.
For the stuff that I work on. So,
Well, I mean, it's. And one last one for me, Troy. So there was the question about the open space not meeting minimum standards. Was that correct?
For the record, Troy B. Hunan, DSD, that figure, that percentage is incorrect. According to code, it's based on
How big the-
housing numbers, and at this level, they're only required to provide 7.5%.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Now, I
yeah, 'cause
thought
the
I,
bigger number was for anything in excess of 100, I think.
right. And is this at 8%?
8.4.
I thought I read somewhere it was a little bit more, but.
It's 8.4% for
Okay.
the current plot. Now, I just want to verify this with you, Troy, because I'm gonna pick on block one, lot one, block one. So I came across your pretty graphic from 2011, noting where the setback is to be measured from. It's actually at the building setback, is that correct?
For the record, Troy B. Hunan, yeah, that's the front of the, so the 20-foot setback is required for all buildings in residential neighborhoods. The 20-foot represents the garage, with building official approval, it can be as close as 15 for living space.
So, well, the question is specifically regarding the lot frontage, because the minimum street frontage is, and it is posted here on the map at 45 feet. So is that measured at the street line, or is that measured per your graphic?
Per the graphic.
Okay, so that's following along to the back, and that's along the, okay. Correct, it's measuring 35 at the street, but there's in the planning code, there is a lovely graphic that Troy produced in 2011 that I came across again today that actually identifies, so in the case of like a knuckle lot or a wedge lot like this, there is a specific location within the lot that you're supposed to measure the frontage from, that is set back from the actual street line. Well, hold on one second, sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've closed the public testimony, so that would have to be maybe asked afterwards to staff. So, sorry. I can't, so, I think we're trying to address at least your concern right now, so that's, we'll see what we can do. But do we know at that given point if that, because
That's the whole thing.
from
I'd like to see it,
35
because
coming back to 20
well, from
feet doesn't-
35 to 52, the wedge doesn't get very big very quickly unless they're pushing the setback forward or further back.
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
So geometrically, I don't see how
45
that
to-
works.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like 45 would comply virtually anywhere on that lot where a residence would sit.
Right. So, yeah. No, my primary concerns are lot one and, as stated prior, the geometry on the intersection. I understand where we're coming from. We are tied in with those existing streets. This one was weird to me. I was kind of curious as to whether there's an opportunity to square it out with the north boundary as opposed to the south boundary, and square the intersection to the south, to the north boundary as opposed to, so swinging in with an arc, coming off of Henna, square that intersection out north to south, turn that into a north-south cross intersection, take the opportunity to change up the lotting on the east side, reconfigure the open space. take advantage of the triangle in the southeast corner for open space. Cause I mean,
But what-
the way this is aligned right now with Henna, this intersection with Mauve,
But
and
then
then
you-
the future intersection with McClure is gonna be a nightmare too. Cause
But-
now we're
But
way
if
off.
you're
of
coming
90.
in straight off of Henna and you're connecting parallel to Mauve, I mean, I don't know, if you realign that at all, you're gonna have to curve.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You introduce the curve coming off of Henna. and you
Oh,
square
this is
everything up.
straight, okay, I
That
thought
is
that
straight.
came up, okay.
No, that's,
But then what, I mean, what does that really give this? I mean, we're still gonna
So,
have probably
for the
nearly the same
future-
houses.
yeah, it's gonna be the same houses, and they're probably gonna be able, and like he said, we're currently sitting in an effectively an R4. So we are at less density than
What
this
it's
is
zoned
zoned
for.
R6, right. So there are fewer homes on this site than there could be. So I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity to square it out, and like I said, planning for the future, that future intersection with McClure is gonna be a nightmare,
Yeah.
so. I don't know, those are my thoughts.
Well, and if you did that, it might give them an opportunity to maybe,
Clean up or potentially provide a play with the open space.
yeah.
I don't know. Those are my thoughts. And that's my wish list. And
Well-
the fact of the matter is, right now, what stands in front of us, I do have a concern about Lot 1. Personally, I don't have a way to prove right now whether or not it's to code. The map states minimum street frontage of 45. Lot 1 is currently listed at 35 and change. And we don't have the setback line listed here with a dimension. So I can't tell you if that's 45 feet or not. Other than that, the map is in compliance with code so really so everything that I've stated otherwise is wish list items. Lot 1 is a sticking point.
And if you look at some of the basic land use requirements that we've tried to maintain is larger lots to the outside as it comes over into transition to the adjacent lots. to
Yeah, 'cause I
the-
mean,
To the east.
Henna, those are all 7,000 square foot, 8,000 square foot lots.
They are.
They're on the larger side. It was one of the more premium areas.
Cause I thought he said it was in pretty much like the other ones, but yeah, that is quite a bit larger.
No, most of Crimson Point is between 6,000 and 10,000. Some in excess of that. So in concept, I like it.
Is Crimson Point in that area, R6?
I think back in the day, yeah, I think so. I don't think it's any lower than that. Or it may have been
I
R4.
thought that's what it- Oh, no, is that,
But most of the lots in the area are 7,000 plus.
where is that?
R3, south. North A, east rural.
West is R6.
Yep.
And south is R3. How? Those look smaller than that.
No, I agree with you, Brian. I think a little bit of tweaking here will make future development make more sense. I think we're in this problem a little bit just because, not looking at the surrounding areas with the anticipation. I know, Troy was saying it's, probably going to continue developing as, the larger lots go. But with that being said, I think looking at this as, if McClure does open up, making that make sense, if it's feeds into Ardell, which honestly I think would solve a lot of the problems, or concerns with traffic. But with the way that sits now, if McClure did open up in the future, Like you said, you've got, you know, two intersection or two bends here that are probably going to cause more problems, you know, with either turning out or turning into this neighborhood. And you talk about all the kids that are in the neighborhood, and then also with Henna coming up, you know, is that bend going to be a safety issue where it's a sudden abrupt?
So it won't be a site distance issue necessarily. I mean, if you look at the way the site triangles are laid out in city, it's kind of interesting. But I mean, that would be my one concern, because a car parked sitting on the corner of, you know, block 3, lot 1 is potentially creating more of a site distance issue for a kid coming out of the neighborhood than it would normally with that kink in the road. So, a question for staff. I just want to make sure I understand this process. And then, so if we were in a position to approve the plat, based on my conversation, my understanding, some changes can be made to the plat between here and final civil and final plat approval, right? It doesn't have to live in this exact configuration between now and final civil approval, correct? How much can things change? Because I guess the question is, if we were in a position to, you know, if the developer was opening to make some minor modifications to the map, could we give them the preliminary plat approval and then deny the design review to see this one more time, or would it be better to table this and request changes?
For the record, Troy B. Heenan, DSD. It's like 3 loaded questions in there, Brian.
I'm working on it.
Okay, so first of all, you're not approving the pre-plat. You're making a recommendation
Correct.
to city
Sorry.
council.
Thank you.
You will decide on the design review. That is squarely within your realm. When city council approves any plat, not just this particular plat or this project, but whenever they approve any preliminary plat, in between preliminary plat approval and during construction plan design, there is limited flexibility to make some alterations for good reason.
Okay.
Because we don't want to, or because we want to, doesn't necessarily constitute a good reason. Usually changes to road structures and road alignments, those are going to come because of other requirements. And that would come either from the city engineer or from Ada County Highway District. Now Ada County Highway District and the Public Works Department have already looked at this, and they've already given their professional opinions about the road alignment. But if they wanted, I'm sorry?
Just real quickly, even McClure coming in at that angle, or I mean,
McClure is the same thing as Mauve and the new connection.
okay, good point.
They're both at angles.
Okay.
And many people don't know it, but there are a lot of cases throughout CUNA and the Valley and across America where intersections don't exactly line up, and you know, it's just they have a complicated formula, and they have a stamp and a degree, and they have training to tell them what exceeds the policy and what exceeds AASHTO's limits. But yes, they can make modifications to the street arrangement, but they have to be minor, because it has to come back to the planning and zoning staff, and we have to reevaluate their final plat and compare it against the preliminary plat that was approved. And all we have to do is find that it was in substantial conformance. If you move a road or you change an alignment by a few degrees, that can really change the outcome of a final plat. If you start really shifting roads, that can also change the outcome of a plat. And both of those things could potentially lead to a non-substantial conformance.
Thank you, Troy.
Glad I could clear it up.
I'm not sure if clearing that up was the right term, but thank you for the answer.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm afraid I just don't know what kind of improvements would help. And realignment, I'm not sure if it would do a ton. So I'm kinda at a loss, I'm not sure.
What's even our ability at this point for anything meaningful that would help?
So from a technical standpoint, the only thing I think that bothers me is lot one. I'd just like to see the number on there.
Well,
Because right now it's
Yeah.
not conforming.
correct, but I mean, if we decided to recommend this, that could be a condition that has to be verified, or that's gonna have to end up being open space. I mean, to put it simply, I mean, make it open space, you're done on that one, but they're gonna have to deal with that as the engineering proceeds.
Mhm.
This is all preliminary. Just like all the foundation work, everything, all the site drainage, all of the possible blasting and where that all comes from future work. So you can't expend that all right now without knowing which direction you're going.
Yep.
I mean, it's R6. Everybody's it's gonna be an infill.
Mhm.
It could be more houses, it could be, up to 30.
Yeah.
And we can't, I mean, rightly say, take a couple houses out because it's not gonna substantially help, I mean, to match the neighborhood to the west.
No, I don't think the number, honestly, I see a couple of opportunities here to, that lot could be saved, and they're gonna have to, I don't envy the guys doing the grading plan on this one, it's gonna be fun. Well, probably not too bad. But, either way, I think the only thing really is, we do need to make sure that lot at the end of the day conforms. That's, from a technical standpoint, I think the only thing that's really sticking on this map right now.
Well, correct, yeah.
Because, I mean, we've got the traffic studies, we've got this and everything else, so.
Well, I mean, I'd stand for a motion then as to what you're thinking. I don't know.
So I guess the question is, how do we word that, right?
Well, it's not, I mean, it just has to conform, but
Right.
they have to work with, I mean, the applicant would have to work with the city in order to
Well,
make sure that complies, but it's.
Right, and at the end of the day, it won't record with a non-compliant lot, too.
Correct.
So,
Yeah,
that's
so I
the
mean,
other
that's kind
aspect of the final plat.
Yeah, that's just standard procedure, so they're gonna have to, but we can reiterate that to the city council if that's your choice of path. I can't see a major help for nothing can go out to Ardell. I mean, this is just the nature of this. Whether these guys do it or another developer does it.
Well, it
You
was,
know.
I mean, it was set up this way, you know, with this little piece of land. I mean, it's gonna get developed. It's not gonna be ideal for,
Well, it's in the whole plan,
right,
so it's,
but it's not gonna be ideal for internal traffic. I mean,
no.
I don't see any way around it. The only thing I hope is that more people head down to Crenshaw and kind of try to avoid the
Correct.
school traffic and all that. It's,
Honestly, I think the interconnect between the roads is gonna be a boon, honestly. I mean, it will add a little bit onto Henna, it will add a little bit onto Mauve, but it'll also provide access from Henna as a secondary point of access.
'Cause you
That
wanna
is-
avoid the school
And that
and
is
you
one of
can
the
go
big things
down,
that is
yeah.
really a big sticking point for me with a lot of developments that come to us when they have only a single point of access. That drives me nuts from a public safety standpoint. So the fact that this has sat there as long as it has, thank goodness it hasn't become a problem, but there is a single point of access.
So you're-
I think there's kind of an emergency access coming out of the back of the cul-de-sac, but they'd have to knock down fences in order to get out. There's a walkway, going out of the existing cul-de-sac up on, I don't know if that's beige or, but.
so you're thinking that this may help
No, I think
internal
I think
traffic?
the interconnectivity of the traffic is a boon to the area. Adding more houses along with the interconnection, that's a whole different story.
It's just everybody, on Henna right now, everybody has to go to Shayla.
Well, it's
Now
not
they
just
can go
Henna,
the other way.
you have an entire cul-de-sac that's sitting there.
Yeah,
There
that's
are
true.
30-plus homes there that only have a single point of access.
So it may be a wash. You end up
Drive
getting 10
access.
homes that go opposite route of Shayla, and then you get several that go towards it. So it may just be a wash, or may not,
Yeah.
or it may add more traffic. We don't know.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird one. Yeah.
Yep.
It's actually an interesting layout, given all the parameters. And I, like, again, I like the large lots around the outside to break that transition up. We only really have just the center portion that's kind of a little more concentrated.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's why I like being here. You guys have to do it. At least for this meeting.
Yep. No, I'm kinda.
Yeah.
Staring at Bobby over here.
Yeah. I mean, I would almost say table it and see if they can address some of the concerns with few that he may have an option for.
Well, the only problem with that is, I mean, again, what logically is going?
No, I mean, nothing.
I'm
It's
not sure. I mean,
So but that's the thing, even my recommendations, like they said, you know, it's already gone through ACHD and it's already gone through engineering.
yeah.
So this is, like I said, it's my wish list.
and short of putting a connection out to Ardell, it really, there's not a lot to mitigate the neighbors' concerns, and that unfortunately can't be done. So I'm not sure what we could table and offer as a direction for the applicant that would help. I mean, realistically, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't foresee
Well,
much. I mean, even if you take a house out and spread this out a little bit more, you're not gonna, that's not the concern. Our density is well within the parameters. It's lower than it can be. And that's only gonna take maybe 4 cars away. And does this open up a little more cross-traffic around this corner where Henna comes to Mauve and allows you to get out to Crenshaw instead? I mean, it is a good point.
I mean, it unfortunately removes the private nature of Henna, but that's
Correct.
kind of goes with the territory with the interconnection, the planned interconnections.
Yeah, this was always planned to be an expanded area.
Don't trust it unless it's a cul-de-sac.
well, and like the homeowner
that's
said,
not
it's
fair.
like they knew it was coming. It's just, you know, and some of the stuff that you can't foresee, you know, the amount of people and the traffic that, you know, the congestion that's caused by the school being there and stuff like that. I mean, it's just one of those things that's tough where it is what it is, and not really much we can say or do about it at this point.
No, and it can be denser. And at least they're,
I mean, that's the two silver linings on this
Yep.
cloud is hopefully that connection will help alleviate some of the traffic concerns, and we are below the R6. I mean, like you said, there could be 8 to 10 more houses crammed in there.
again, like I said, if you guys have a direction, I'd stand for a motion.
I mean, one of us is gonna have to do it. I guess I'll be the bad guy. There's nothing else to do. All right, I'll make a motion to recommend approval for case number 25-09-S with conditions as outlined in the staff report.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, nobody there.
You can,
Secondly?
you can do the next one.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve case number 25-29-DR with conditions as outlined in the staff report.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. And just to reiterate, there will be, this is a recommendation to the city council, so this kind of information for the city council would be prudent as well, because they have to ultimately make this final decision. So I appreciate all of these neighborhood response. They need to have the information too, so.
Please show up.
Yeah, thank you. And so that motion carries. So next item on the agenda will be business item for downtown design standards amendment for Marina.
Yes, one moment, I have a visual aid to set up.
Okay, thank you.
This is what they're saying about.
It was originally approved in 2014, they said, that are annexed. It's like,
Yeah.
that's,
I have a question.
you know, of course, in 2014, what did?
It was a
that
different
neighborhood
world
look
in
like?
2014, that's
Well,
for sure.
the whole area was planned. Crimson Point, that whole thing was planned all the way from Kenmile
So,
to the edge.
I mean, if McClure were not a private lane,
here's what bothers me about this whole thing.
Your best probably information would be with Troy. Yeah.
So,
I just have a problem with that lot one is so much higher than my house, and only a two-story house can go on it. And it's gonna tower over my house like this monstrosity, and all of my windows are in the back of my house. I'll never be able to open my windows.
oh, I feel your pain.
I'm not gonna be able to take a shower. I'm not gonna be able to have my blinds open in my bedroom, my living room, my dining room. It ruins my entire, cause it's gonna be like this over the top of my house.
Well,
And I was trying to say that before you guys went through, that needs to be adjusted.
well, that's one thing.
So it's gonna match
when-
the grade, so at the end of the day, it's gonna match the grade of henna itself, right? So,
If you look out, my backyard goes like this.
right.
'Cause
Well,
see,
but the street's gonna control it.
So I looked
The
at
street is
map,
gonna
and
control
didn't
it.
look like that.
Have you not looked at the fence? You can
Well,
see
here.
the fence. It
Yeah,
goes
we've
up.
got it on Google Earth right here.
So
It
right
does
here,
not.
at the end,
Come on
yeah.
around. Cause tell us if this is correct or not. This is what we were looking
So
at.
this is you?
Yeah, this is significantly sloped up.
Right, but it's.
Okay, so at the end of the day, this pad is probably gonna be about a foot above yours.
Oh, no, it's a
No,
lot
if
more.
you look at the grade of the street, cause this
I
street
wish
can
I
only
had
go
a
up
picture
2
of my
months.
backyard so you could see it. My backyard comes out and then goes up.
Right, so how high is this slope?
This is about 4.5 to 5 feet from my
Okay.
low part up.
Okay,
So it's
so-
significant.
Okay, so this pad will likely be level with your slope? They're gonna use yours as an existing edge
Right.
condition?
What's up
Realistically,
here, but my
Chance-
house is way lower.
So
So when you
realistically,
look out my window,
No,
my
I
fence
feel ya.
sits at like this level.
Uh-huh.
realistically,
way above.
I don't think that lot is gonna conform to that front end.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
We're still in public.
What I can say is.
Well,
bring-
I mean, it ruins
no,
my house.
Stop, please. I'm trying, I
don't
can't
wanna
talk,
be a part
okay,
of
either
that.
I'm
I
not gonna
just-
be able to answer or give you some advice, and I'm gonna stop right now.
No, I don't wanna be part of that. I'm just
Okay, then please,
No,
I can't.
no, I don't wanna be part of her. That's what I'm saying.
No, I know.
just want good
I-
advice
let me-
because I don't know what to do.
And I was trying to say that,
Yeah,
but
and I know she
we're gonna
didn't.
get locked out by this by the proceedings if you don't stop.
Oh, I didn't.
So, no, what I'm just, I am trying, stop talking, please. Let me finish and I'll give you the advice, okay? I'm not trying to be a bully or anything, but I'm just trying to tell you what I can tell you right now. Bring that exactly up to the city council. Make the recommendations to the city council because they can look at that lot and make some conditions there, okay? That's unfortunately all I can say now that we've closed public testimony, but bring that concern to, the code question would be staff over me. I'm glad I'm done with this. Yep. If you go to city council and just say, look, can you condition that to be a single-story house? That does not look like it's conformed to me, because that's what I do is angles and as much as he does, that they're not gonna fit that. So you might as well condition that to be an open space, and then she's done. She's good. Exactly. Yeah. But it keeps going from 4 feet to 8 feet, and I don't see it.
So,
I mean, we
it's
looked
gonna
at
be,
Google Maps from both sides. And
it's gonna be higher, but the thing is, that's, if the land behind you is higher, you can't expect it not to get developed, and it's gonna be higher than yours.
This is,
Well,
Yeah.
but that's the thing, we do this, we deal with this all the time. Anyways,
and they knew that was gonna be.
well, it's frustrating, cause
Yeah,
they
no,
have
I
a
know.
nice, she has a great view. The view out of the back of my house was great before the house behind me went too, which sucks.
Well, yeah, no,
It really sucks.
unfortunately. Okay, we ready? Okay.
All right, good evening, members of the commission. For the record, Marina Lundy, Planner, CUNA Development Services Department. The City of CUNA Development Services Department respectfully submits a proposed amendment to the CUNA Downtown Design Standards. The changes requested are to remove the 3 color tiers for the Old Town District on page 10 and for the Railroad District on page 15, and to replace the existing color palette, also on page 10 and 15, with these updated colors. These changes are being requested to remove outdated colors and replace them with colors that more accurately represent the character of the districts. The removal of color tiers and the addition of 1 color palette promote design flexibility, clarity, and consistency, making the city's design manual easier to use. I'll be here for any questions that you have.
Thank you. So, one question I've got, so our current options are you got paint and then you got current roof paint options. So is the proposed updates gonna cover both? You can pick roof from the same color palette, or do you have a separate one for roofs too?
So we will be completely removing the option to paint roofs after speaking to, we got these both the current and proposed colors from Sherwin-Williams, and after speaking to them, they no longer offer most painted roof options, so we're just removing that completely.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any other questions. I think it's pretty straightforward. Do you?
So,
Just simplifying it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just looks like it's simplifying. Doesn't look like it's.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it was weird with the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3.
Yeah, the
As
different
it
trim
was,
options.
I think
and-
this makes it a lot more, just kind of easier
swings
to
it up a little
follow.
bit.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, you got anything, Brian?
No?
Well, then I think it looks good. We're not even voting on it, are we?
Don't we just approve or disapprove this?
We recommend it still, cause I think this is a council item still.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I just didn't see it in our thing, so.
Oh, yeah, I didn't either.
Cause
Wait,
this doesn't have a case number associated with it.
actually, sorry, I don't believe that this goes to council. I think this is,
It's design review, so it should be
yeah, this is
approve or disapprove.
approve or disapprove.
Okay,
with
so
commission.
this is just the downtown design standards amendment?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll make a motion to approve the downtown design standards amendment.
Seconded?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. We're good to go. That looks good. With that, I don't see any other items on the agenda. Is there any updates or reports from staff?
Not at this time.
Okay. I will make one announcement that this is my last evening here. Been doing this a long time, and I appreciate all the help that I've had from my commissioners, both present and past, and staff. Because sometimes it's hard to wrangle in an engineering brain to understand some of this, so appreciate it all. It's been a long time. I'm always concerned with the path of the city, so I've enjoyed being here and learned.
Well, thank you.
But it is now Brian's turn.
For a little while. We'll see what happens in
that-
January.
That's what I said 17 years ago.
Uh,
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.